DK
Golfcast.
presented by
Bones Brothers Media.
Well, everybody wants to call him Harris, or Harrison, or Hank, but his name is Hudson, not to be confused with the Bay or the River. He's a champion, and don't look now, another Georgia Bulldog on top of the leaderboard. Hudson Swafford cashing a lot of tickets for the Bones DK family this week. Hello, my name is Edge. You can follow me on Twitter and now on TikTok. Golf Guy WV. Shout out to Dame Jackson, I should say. Dame Jackson 14 on Twitter. He took down the $200 for 10K. His big hit was actually Harmon. We talked a lot about Harmon last week, but we loved Swafford last week also. Cashed a lot of Bones DK tickets and heads up tickets for you, Bones DK. Welcome to the program. Big week for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just riding that energy right now. And I'll tell you what, I was never a Georgia Bulldog fan, but I think I am all of a sudden. You know, it started with the Georgia Bulldogs winning the national championship, and then we played Kisner, and then we played Swafford. And, you know, that momentum's coming into Bones DK golf now. I mean, this is I haven't felt this good in a long time. Hudson Swafford gets us done. We cash in DraftKings, and we are going to ride this momentum into the Farmers this week. I'm feeling great.
Love the energy. The guy just said before we came on, folks, he was like, look alive, everybody. And he's coming on alive right now. TW Man 66 joining us from St. Pete Beach. How are you, T-Dubs?
Doing great. Hey, Georgia. Brian Harmon, Georgia.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Harmon last week, Wildman, and it was an exciting finish to the American Express. Something to be excited about this week also, Wildman. Not only were we on Harmon last week, but we got a chance to get on a Mountaineer this week. We got a Mountaineer who Monday qualified for the Farmers this week, Max Sear, who on a local level does pretty well for himself. In fact, he's won a couple matches as a Mountaineer. Clear number one on their roster, but he is in this week's tournament, an added layer to the Farmers, so we get to drink some beer and cheer on a Mountaineer, Wild man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I like to wear my TW here in California. Let's put it away. Let's support the local guy, huh? Got it, huh?
Let's go.
Let's
Ready
go.
to roll, baby.
One golf guy WV to another golf guy WV. Max is probably going to come in at 6,000 this week also. I haven't really looked that low in the DK rankings yet. But this week, Wild Man, big shout out, by the way, to McNeil and Chameleonaire and the rest of the WVU DGens for the text thread info on Max Sear. This week, Wild Man, we are on to the Farmers. La Jolla, California. Incredible that it's already the fourth tournament of the PGA Tour season. Time just flies when you're having a good time. And Torrey, north and south this week. It's a long track. Couple things about this tournament, incredibly strong field. You got six of the top players in the world: Rahm, DJ, Koepka, Spieth, Schauffele, DeChambeau, Thomas, Matsuyama, all part of the field. And the winners here in the past, for whatever reason, guys love to play at this course, have been superstars. Woods is a 7-time winner here. Mickelson is a 3-time winner. Jason Day is a 2-time winner. Rahm is one here. Rose is one here. Bubba Watson's one here. Patrick Reed, although some controversy surrounding him shouldn't surprise anybody. People have accused him of cheating in this tournament, but he went on to win by 5 shots when he did win this tournament. So a lot of superstars win here, Wild Man. What can you tell us about this course? Why is it that way?
Well, it's that way, number one, because Torrey Pines South, which they will play 3 times this week out of the 4 rounds, is the longest PGA Tour course out there. So, as we all know, longer golf courses just bring more difficulty. When the conditions are more difficult, when the course demands more out of your skill set, you're going to see the cream rise to the top. It's typical. This course is strong enough to host majors. As a matter of fact, it hosted the U.S. Open last year. So, you know, it's set up to be difficult. It's set up for the best players in the world to succeed. Basically because of the length of the course, right? I mean, you've got par 3s over 200, 225. You've got a lot of par 4s that are pressing 500. You've got penal areas into the rough. So you're really going to have to get it out there long and get it out there straight in the absence of a white hot putter to have a chance to contend here. Now, it should also be noted that while the South course is the longest course on tour, the North course is far, far shorter, only measuring about 7,200 and change, about 600 yards shorter. And it has different greens than the South course. But The players are only going to have to play the North Course once, as both weekend rounds are on the South Course if you make the cut.
Why did they do it that way, do you think, Wildman?
I don't really know. I mean, it hasn't always been that way. I think they just added the North Course to the rotation like 9 years ago. So you'd have to ask, the planners or people that dig more deeper into that to know. But it does seem a little strange, I mean, why?
Yeah, 3 rounds on one course, 1 on the other. Why not 2 and 2? But whatever. We're not a golf design show or a golf betting show. So let's get back into the tiers here, Robbie, because this is a huge field. Like I said, a strong field, full field. I shouldn't say huge field, but very strong field. You've got some top players here, all winners. Jon Rahm leading us off for the second week in a row, over $11,000. He's at 11-2. Justin Thomas, who has had success here in the past, he's at 10-9. Hideki, he's a past winner, major champion, 10-6. Dustin Johnson, first time we've mentioned his name in 2022 on the Bones DK podcast. Huge fans of DJ. We are here. And Xander Schauffele, who, here we are again talking about Xander. Is he going to be able to get across that finish line? Gold medalist. Let's not take that away from him. He did win there among some of the best players in the world. But when is he going to get that PGA Tour win? Again, he's always up there in the top 5. He's at 10,100 this year, Bones DK. Any of these guys you're going to build your lineup around this week?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think there's a clear favorite here this week, and I actually decided to fade this guy last week. It kind of paid off, but his name is Jon Rahm, and I know a lot of people are giving him a lot of crap for being a baby and everything like that. But man, if you look at this guy's course history, it's just insane. And then Wildman was talking about the 2021 U.S. Open. He is the defending champion at this course. He also came in 2nd, 7th, and 5th in since 2019. I absolutely love this guy this week. And hopefully some people don't like him because, he's being a baby or whatever. People just don't like Jon Rahm.
Elaborate a little bit on what you're talking about. What do you mean he's being a baby? Explain that.
There was a video clip going around where he came off one of the holes and he was like, these damn greens, it's just a putting contest. He was just angry. And, yeah, I think he was being a baby. I don't think he's the most likable guy in the world, but he's one of the best golfers in the world right now. This guy is dialed in. And I think if you're playing one lineup this week, if you're just doing one single entry, I think it's a must play in your lineups, to be honest with you. If you're playing 2 entries or multiple entries, then you get a Jon Rahm and a non-Jon Rahm lineup in this week. But I am sticking strong to Jon Rahm this week. He is awesome. His history is just too good. And I think he is actually angry at people. He doesn't like when, shit talk against him. So I like Jon Rahm to show up this week against all the negative energy around him.
Yeah, negative energy, just to add fuel to the fire. If it's Tiger Woods or if it's John Daly coming off the greens saying the same thing, they're praised for being, mavericks on the PGA Tour and sticking it to the man. So it's certainly perhaps a double standard, we'll say, with Jon Rahm. But Wildman, again, these top-tier guys, they're all winners, dude. Anything else you can add to that? Do you need to have Rahm in your lineup to win this week?
I don't think you need to have him, but it's if there's ever a guy that's probable to win, higher than that PGA Tour standard of like 2.5 to 3.5% to win, it's probably Rahm this week. Remember, the U.S. Open stats aren't included in a lot of what we're looking at because it was technically a different tournament, albeit at the same course. So add another win to Rahm there. And don't forget this too about Rahm. Like we like the Memorial as a very difficult course, major-esque. This course is tough too. Rahm had a 6-shot lead before bowing out with COVID there. If they don't make him bow out there, if COVID doesn't make him bow out, he wins that tournament, has the lead at the Tour Championship, going in as the number 1 seed, and wins the Tour Championship in all likelihood over Cantlay. So, as good as you think he is, he's better than you even think he is. So I would expect him to play really well. Another guy that we love is DJ. He doesn't have a lot of success at this particular event, but he does play well in California. But DJ's always the guy, we like to watch him get a few reps before we're
100%.
We're, kind of pegging where he is. So today, this week, I think we're going to pass on DJ, kind of let him go out there, get his stuff together, and we'll have a better feel for him as it goes on. But man, there's a lot of value here below Rahm, all the way down to like Patrick Reed.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, if not impossible, to get Rahm and DJ in the same lineup also. So we're taking Rahm out of the top tier there. We're going to start at 10,000 with the 9 to 10 tier here. We got Berger, who has not been very kind to us on the Bones DK podcast, but certainly a player that could win out here. DeChambeau, always in the conversation. Burns at 9,700. Yikes. I don't know. That's expensive, I feel like, for that guy. We'll let you guys answer that one, though, for me. Koepka at 9.6, Scheffler at 9.5, Spieth at 9.4, Im at 9.3, Zalatoris at 9.2, Fenow at 9.1, Leishman at 9. Buddy, we like value on this podcast. Wildman just kind of touched on it. There's even more value below that, but at this $9,000 tier, there's a lot of guys who could win this tournament, Bones DK.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was getting at. If you don't play Rahm, this is where I'm starting my lineup, and I'm actually going to go all the way down to the bottom of the 9K range with Zalatoris, guys. Apparently, a lot of people are talking about him. I'm not too sure about that. I don't listen to too much, but he's coming off a 7th place in this tournament last year. And he also had 6 straight birdies last week. This guy is just in great form. So I'm going to go down to Big Z here. And I think starting your lineup, especially with a single entry, starting with Rahm and Zalatoris, is a great start. I think both those guys are going to perform under the pressure. And these guys are in great form right now. Obviously, you have Sam Burns, Scotty Scheffler, our boy. Daniel Berger, I meant to say something about him. He is a great player. He rates out well. I do like him. But starting your lineup with Daniel Berger at 10K, he's finally up there in price where he's getting a little too expensive for me, though I think he could perform really well this week.
Wildman, anything you can add to that $9,000 tier? Because, again, a lot of value here. You just said it yourself. I think that Spieth at 9,400 is interesting. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just don't think Spieth has the tee to green game to contend at a course like this this particular week. So I'll pass on Spieth. You know, he is one of those guys, though, that with the putter can keep him in any tournament, as we've seen over the years. But I'll pass on him. I want to talk about Scheffler real quick. You know, I feel like we talk about him all the time, but, you know, look at where he's priced in regards to some of the guys underneath him. And, you know, having no wins on the card. So that goes to tell you what he's been doing and also what the DK algorithm might tell you about him and his potential. Kind of a guy that was off the radar last week, finished 25th, 20 birdies and 2 eagles. So he's going to do what he always does. And remember what I said about Rahm. Well, Scheffler contended for the U.S. Open Championship here a couple months ago. And those stats are not reporting in to the Farmers Insurance Open because that was a different tournament. So add that, you know, top 7 finish from Scheffler at the U.S. Open, and let's fire him up, man. A guy that can play tough courses really well. On that same note, this is perhaps my favorite play of the week. It's Tony Finau at 9,100. I think this is an extreme discount on Tony Finau this week. Great course history here, and a guy that can fill up birdies all the time. We talk about tough courses like we just did. Long irons. I love his long irons. Contends at the British Open in the toughest conditions. Contends at majors in the toughest conditions with the fastest greens. You know, a guy that you can make an argument against most of the time. But this particular week, I think 9,100 with his potential to make birdies. I put him and Scheffler in a very similar boat this week. Really good chance I'm on both of those guys to get things started for me.
Good stuff there, Wildman. Is there more value, though, even in the $8,000 tier? Because you look at our guy Gooch, 89, kicking off that tier. Corey Connors, who we've already played in a couple lineups this year, at 88. Patrick Reed at 87, who we just talked about. Matt Wolff, he was everybody's sweetheart last week at 85. A guy that loves California, Max Homa. Our favorite last name, Bazudenhout. Christian is in there at 83. McNeely. Look out for this guy. He's got an interesting story. I'm sure you guys will help tell it here as far as what he can do over the next few weeks here. Maverick Mcneely at 82, Palmer at 81, and then Justin Rose, who's won here, is at 79. So, TW Man, is that $8,000 tier actually better than the $9,000 tier?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're making the point for us there. You know, we don't even have to go much further. I mean, like you got PGA Tour winners down here in a range where there's not much difference to some of these guys in the 9K range. So you're talking about savings and or trying to get Rahm into your lineup. This is a great place to go to have a strong lineup. One guy I'll mention in particular is Homa. He's a Burbank, California guy, which is in the LA area. He's got 2 of his 3 PGA Tour wins in California at the Fortinet Championship and I believe the Genesis. So he's looking for that triple play maybe here. Got 2 good finishes here. I believe top 20 last year, top 10 the year before that. And he's coming off a good week last week. So Homa's a guy that we like that hometown flavor. 8,400. You want to talk about under the radar? Perhaps a guy, perhaps nobody fits the mold better than Max Homa, 3-time PGA Tour winner. You know, I like him a lot this week.
Just signed a big deal with Elijah Craig Whiskey this week also, Max Homa. So not only did he do well on the golf course, he did well off the golf course also. Bones DK, I know you love Maverick McNeely. $8,200. Like, is this the value pick of the week right here, Maverick?
You know, he's not, actually. I do love Maverick McNeely. I think he's a great play. I am going to put him in some of my lineups this week. I think Patrick Reed is a great play in this range. I'm not saying he's the value of the week, but he has won here. He's the defending champion. Sneakily coming off 27 and 20 birdies. You like to play him at tougher courses. And, you know, coming off of what Patrick Reed did before he had his win here, I'm just going to go down to this recent history here. So he goes cut 68th second, 61st, 32nd, third. Now he's on a 15th, 55th on a course that he loves. He has amazing history here. I'm not worried about his recent form. I love Patrick Reed this week. I think he's one of my favorite plays. I'm not saying he has the most value, though I think he's probably one of the best players at the cheapest range.
Interesting. He did win by 5 shots when he won here previously. Also accused of cheating in that tournament. If you recall, his ball, he claimed plugged into the ground. It was clear on video replay that it bounced. He took a free drop. A lot of controversy. Probably didn't play into the fact that he won the tournament, though. I mean, he did win by 5 shots. Interesting take there on Patrick Reed, who, you know, any chance I get, I like to try to throw under the bus. I don't care much for Patrick Reed,
well, you
Captain
know,
America.
What do you know?
Left
I like
off the Ryder Cup team.
Ramen Reed. And if people don't like him, hopefully they're low owned, and we win $1 million this week.
Yeah,
That's
Reed,
true. That's true.
Here's one thing I'll add about Reed too. Generally speaking, we talked about the length of some of these iron shots you have to hit. Well, the longer the iron shot, the more likely you are to miss the green as well, especially because these greens are on the smaller, below average level. So you're gonna have a lot of short game required to make par at some of these holes that are just super, super long. I believe 12 and 15 here on the South Course are 2 of the most difficult holes on all of the PGA Tour. So you're going to have some scramble opportunities. A course where you need to scramble, which kind of correlates to difficulty, checks a box for Reed. Definitely.
All right, let's jump down here to the $7,000 range. I'm not going to read everybody off here, but some notables. Justin Rose, as I said, who's won here in the past at 79. Keegan Bradley there at 79. Billy Horschel, who's done okay thus far this season at 78. Scroll down a little bit further. You've got Molinari, who's pretty interesting, I think, this week at 76. Jason Day, a 2-time winner at 75. Keith Mitchell, who Wildman said something about last week, at 74. Woodland, who's a U.S. Open champion, Hadwin at 73. Streelman. So, again, we could go on and on. Last week's champion, Swafford at 72. Bones DK, who do you want to talk about in this $7,000 to $8,000 range?
Well, you know, I'm falling in this range with my build this week, so I have a lot of interest in this range, and I like a lot of guys. One guy, I guess he's 8,100. Sorry, I thought he was 7,900. Is Ryan Palmer. I think he's an amazing play this week. He has 2 second places here with a 13th and a 21st in his last 4 appearances here. And let's go over to his history, or his recent form, excuse me. And he is coming off of a 12th at the Sony Open, 22 birdies and an eagle. This guy is in form, and I love to load him up this week. Another guy I'm really enjoying this week, and I think is a sneaky play, is Justin Rose. He has won here, has an 8th place. He missed the cut in 2020. Not too worried about that. I think he's actually a very sneaky play. People were scared to play Justin Rose, but he was like leading the tournament close into that first round of last week. So I really like Justin Rose. And I think my value play this week is Lanto Griffin. Has a 7th and a 12th here Loved what I saw last week. I'm a huge Lanto guy. He's plays amazing in California. He's always been a namesake for this podcast. And let's fire him up. Coming off a third place at the American Express, 23 birdies, an eagle, and only 5 bogeys. One stat I'm looking at this week is bogey avoidance, since it is a harder course. It's not going to be a big birdie fest this week. Give me some Lanto Griffin all day, every day.
We do love Lanto on this podcast. He is like a white hot flame. He will burn you sometimes, but boy, he's at other times beautiful to watch.
No one's going to burn us. I'm feeling no one's going to miss a cut. There's no Michael Thompson. There's no Munoz. There's no Gooch this week screwing us over. We're 6 for 6 this week. Fire up Lanto Griffin.
Wild man. Anybody you can add to that $7,000 to $8,000 range?
Lanto tends to string it together too, like momentum-wise.
Yeah.
So.
That was not an indictment on Lanto. It was just, it's facts. It's somewhat like Answer. When we have played him in the past,
don't ever mention Answer's name again.
When we've played Lanto on the Bones DK podcast, he has he's won us a lot of money in the past. He's also fizzled out on a couple occasions as well. That's all I'm saying. Wild man, who's good in this $7,000 to $8,000 range, buddy? I'll
tell you who I'm looking at, man, and you just have to close your eyes and go with it. Keegan Bradley, $7,900. I mean, his strength is by far his tee to green game. When there's a need to play well off the tee, he's a guy I always look at, because he can really smash it, and he can hit it straight when he's on. Good with the irons. Can tend to get some momentum, some confidence going. It's just, the same story we feel like all the time is can you put that putter, can you get the putter going well enough to make a couple birdies and kind of make those 6 and 7 foot par putts when you have to stay in contention? I think this is a course he can do it. I trust his tee to green game, especially when that is needed. So he's a guy that I'll confidently fire up with tons of fear, if that makes any sense.
I think it does. I think it does. Absolutely. I mean, a couple times, again, Keegan Bradley's a great example. Like, a couple times we've avoided Keegan. He's done awesome. A couple times we've been on him. He's just, been very lukewarm.
You'll know very early with Keegan,
Yeah, and his fandom of Howard Stern, I feel like keeps him relevant in a lot of PGA casual fans' minds. But otherwise, he's not that great of a golfer. How many wins does he have on tour? 4 or 5, maybe?
I don't think he's won an event with a cut since 2013. He won the BMW a couple of years ago to break that streak from when he was at his peak, when he won the PGA and all that. But yeah, he does not win enough. But again, at 7,900, you don't need him to win.
That's true. That's true.
You
Just
need him to make the cut. And play well tee to green on the weekend.
That's
basically.
it. But Bones DK, we're going to go back to Wildman here in just a second to get his flyer of the week. But anybody you'd like to add that we haven't talked about in that $7,000 range or even less?
Yeah, there's one other guy I was kind of just hyped up on Lanto Griffin there. One guy I did want to mention was Tom Hoagy Hoge, however you call his name. I call him Hoagy. I could say
Merrill Hodge.
Yeah. Yeah. But, coming off a massive week last week, great history, a 12th and a 5th. And if you look at his recent form, he has a third, like a 23rd and a second or a third. So this guy's in amazing form right now. I really like him with his history coming into this week. And in the 6K range, refer to my top plays. I'm actually tinkering with my lineup still to this moment, even though the tournament starts tomorrow. But I'll post the top plays right after this podcast. There's a couple guys I'm looking at, like Ryder down here, but nothing too crazy. I'm going to try to build my lineup in the 7K range mostly this week.
TW Man 66, who is the Bones DK Flyer of the week?
I decided this flyer before the news broke about Max Sear being in the event, because they are playing partners tomorrow, if you can believe that.
Oh, wow.
1 p.m. Eastern time, going off the South Course. Georgia Bulldog, born in Augusta, Georgia. Grayson Sigg,
Oh,
And here's
man.
why we're back in SIG. Okay?
Smoke if you got him, huh?
Yeah, smoke a SIG if you got one. Yeah, I love it. Not an extremely long player off the tee, but he's good enough off the tee. He's good enough with his irons. And we're looking at his bogey avoidance recently. Look, he's made those last 2 cuts at the Sony and the Amex, a total of 10 bogeys, only 1 double bogey. So if we can avoid those numbers, that to me, that's a sign of a grinder. And he's adding birdies there too. So let's ride the Georgia momentum. Let's ride the inspiration of our Monday qualifier of our Mountaineer Max Sear. Let's get these 2 guys together. Let's have them go low.
Let's rip a SIG and let's get one this week, huh? With Grayson. I love it. Smoke if you got him. All right, Bones DK. Actually, you know what, TW man? We're about ready to sign off here real quick, but you're actually going to be tomorrow in New York City taking in the Nuggets and the Brooklyn Nets. Is that true?
That's correct. I will be in the Barclays Center tomorrow night at tip-off. And let's just say we'll have action on the game.
I was just about ready to say, will you be wagering on that game? I'll tell you what, we were talking earlier about the WVU D-Gens. We've got a Penn State D-Gens group, I feel like, that's out there also. A bunch of Pittsburgh and Penn State guys like to throw a little coin around also. So are you excited about that? When you getting up there? What's the plan for tomorrow, Bob, man?
Yeah, flying in tomorrow morning, and I got a hotel in Brooklyn, and meeting up with DK Kamen, and we'll be taking it in. He's got great seats. He's got season tickets. They're pretty close to the court. You've seen some videos. So I don't think Durant and Irving are playing, obviously, but Harden should be in, and another Mountaineer. You know, hopefully JC gets some minutes.
There you go.
And we'll be we'll have action on the game, like I said.
Post it on Twitter. Let us know what it is so we can bet the opposite.
I will. If you want to bet with us, DM it. I can't post it here because I predicted Kansas over WVU accurately, backed WVU, lost that game, and then I backed WVU again the next week against who they play, Texas Tech, and then doubled down in the second half. By the way, I didn't even tell you that. Took them +5. They were down 2 with like a minute 44 to go, lost by 11. So,
I mean, they call me Golf Guy WV. It's a sad state right now for WV Hoops. I think we've lost 3 in a row, and nothing gets easier in the Big 12, the best league in the country. Bones DK, I'll leave you with this, man. I see lately you've been trying to get into golf trading cards. Have you made any purchases yet? Have you hit any autos? And do you think that's something that the golf community's into?
Yes, definitely. I got a box on its way. I'll probably do a preview show when I do it, so everyone can watch and maybe even give one away. I'm thinking for the majors this year, we're gonna have a Bones DK fan tournament. Give away some prizes. Maybe even do a free entry and just give away things. We're just trying to get people to be happy, right? That's what matters here. So that's what we're looking for. And maybe some baseball cards, huh, guys? What do we? It's a big deal these days. So we'll get
Bones DK and I have started to dabble very, very little bit in football and older baseball cards, but maybe that is something another wrinkle that we can add to the Bones DK podcast here in the coming months. But I do really want to say this to everybody. Appreciate. We had a lot of momentum, a lot of feedback this week, and we absolutely love that, man. Keep hollering at us. Let us know if we're doing a good job. Let us know if we stink. We don't care. We really appreciate you guys listening, and we really do. I mean, that's what it's all about. We're just trying to start a community here, and we're not always going to be right, but we hope to be right more often than we are wrong. There's no doubt about that. So I know I speak on behalf of Bones DK and TW Man 66 about that also. And Wildman had a really inspirational Martin Luther King Jr. quote to end last week's podcast. Do you have anything like that again this week, Wildman? Anything as inspirational or as historic as that?
I don't.
I mean, it's tough to beat MLK. Tough to beat MLK.
Yeah. How about we end it with this? Bet golf, play golf. For TW Man 66, Bones DK Golf, my name is Edge. Again, you can follow me on Twitter and TikTok now at Golf Guy WV. Thanks for listening. Good luck this week at the Farmers in La Jolla, California. It's legal there, by the way, boys.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.